at that time, you know, whatever the dissatisfaction was with the musical direction. It was less classical. There was less workouts, less jazzy, hardly room for anything other than you know, wall-to-wall lyrics and a very complex story and very complex keyboard playing. Very virtuosic in all those departments, but as I say, the rest of us were really looking for somewhere to, almost like a workout in the gym elsewhere, and I think that was Brand X for Phil, somewhere where he could show his drumming chops, and he certainly did with that. And I used to go and see quite a lot of their early shows. I remember seeing them at the Roundhouse in London and enjoying it very much. I was kind of envious of, you know, Phil's ability to be able to work in so many different contexts, and none more so than with Brand X. It was a great band. They had hot players. John Goodstall, very, very fast. You know, he's better than me. He's got, you know, stronger technique. This is great stuff. And Percy with the fretless, you know, very, very interesting, doing harmonics and doing all those things that later I think were attributed to Jaco Pastorius, the late great Jaco. But I think that Percy was reinventing the instrument in his own way, and deserves full credit for that. Amongst other fans of his work, Brian Eno was hugely taken with Percy. I remember having a conversation with him after we'd worked on a Landmark down on Broadway together, Eno and I. And Eno, again, very much an ideas man, thinking outside the box and bringing something fresh to a team that's, you know, working almost like the civil service in terms of, you don't do that, you don't do this, you don't do that. But he could walk in and say, well, have you guys thought of X, you know, as well as Y and Z and all the rest. So yeah, I think he was on to Percy, and when I worked with Percy on Voyage of the Acolyte, he did, the track was called A Tower Struck Down, and I mistakenly thought that he was going to anchor it and you know, play these riffs, but very quickly I realised that basically he was going to go everywhere but I'd dreamed that the track should go in its angular, kind of atonal, tritone-ish sort of way. My brother would come up with the main riff, actually, and he was thinking that this was like Zeppelin, you know, this kind of stuff. If Zeppelin joined forces with King Crimson, it might sound a little bit like this, but it ended up like sounding something nothing like either of those things. It had its own thing, and I was already in my element.